Sonic 3 came out not too long ago, and it's actually pretty good. While I think the movie has a few issues, they weren't big enough for me to say, "Grr, this family-friendly Sonic movie is trash." It's just a little sad to think that the movies are a bit more enjoyable than the games right now. And don't worry, I won't spoil anything in the video until later on, so people who haven't seen the movie can have a general overview and decide if they still want to see it. And the question you may be asking yourself right now is, D'Anthony, is the movie funny? And my answer is, sort of. Like, I didn't piss myself laughing at every single joke that was made. Most of what made me laugh was Knuckles and Shadow just being subtle about it.
Why do you look like me?
I don't look like you. You look like me. Why do you look like me?
And not even trying to be funny. And to be honest, I didn't find Sonic funny at all, which sounds kind of weird, but some of his supposedly funny dialogue just kind of annoyed me. But I know humor is subjective, so take this point with a grain of salt. It might be because I just find his voice really annoying. But with everybody else, I think they sound great. I fully expected Tails to have the cringe dialogue, but he was great, super fun. Out of the main cast, I think I like Knuckles the most. He's kind of the himbo of the group, but he's easily the most chill and likable character of all of them. Like, I definitely prefer movie Knuckles over game Knuckles, to be honest. He feels like fucking Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, so maybe that's why I like him.
And this green horse, she...
Oh, you must stop!
He is much more impressive than the hedgehog I fought previously.
Dude, I'm standing right here.
Even the effects look great. You'd think with the bad rap video game movies get, it wouldn't look that great. But visually, it's stunning. The detailing on the main cast is great, and even their eyes and individual hairs look great. They all feel alive and move naturally too, but you can tell they labored over this. But something I have a minor complaint about is parts of the dialogue. But it's so minor because it's only Sonic. He's the only one I find annoying. He's basically a child trying too hard to sound cool and funny, which, I mean, I guess he kind of is, but he ends up being the most annoying person in class and no one laughs at his jokes. Now, onto the real shit. Was Shadow enjoyable? Short answer, yes. I mean, he's Keanu Reeves. Of course I was gonna like him. But I think Shadow has done really well in this. We actually get to see his relationship with Maria, and it isn't just a short cutaway. It's an actual, believable friendship, and it's the only friendship he had. And a detail I like is that in the flashbacks, Shadow sounds a lot more lighthearted and chill, but in the present day, he just sounds tired and rugged. Almost like he's sick of it all, which I think fits the movie. And if you're wondering, yeah, he doesn't get a real gun. Shocker, I know. It's like a toy fucking space gun, but he ditches it pretty early on, so that's whatever. Like, we're starting to enter a bit into spoiler territory, so keep that in mind, but the bike he uses in the trailers also does not stick around that long. And as for the other new addition, we have Eggman's grandfather, Gerald Robotnik. And if you're a Sonic fan, you know in the game canon, he's dead as fuck, like he's over 100. But in this movie, he's the main antagonist, who is also portrayed by Jim Carrey. And can I just say, he is just so much fun. Like in the games, I'm not the biggest Eggman fan, but here, he's tons of fun, and he feels like a cartoon villain that isn't completely evil. Like, even if you don't like the movie, I think you can at least admit Jim puts in the most amount of effort. And as for like the regular human characters, like, I genuinely didn't care about Tamar's girlfriend. Like, I didn't remember her name was. Fucking me! Like, this is how much I didn't care. I forgot her fucking name. Like, maybe it's my Alzheimer's kicking in, but whenever they were on screen, I just rolled my eyes. And it's not the actors and actresses' fault. The movie just made me care way more about the furries and Eggman. I don't know if that's a hot take, but it's just how I feel. So if you happen to like the human characters, then they probably won't bother you. Like, at the beginning of the movie, we get a cheesy scene of Tom telling Sonic to make the best choice he possibly can, and to try to do better. And right there you can tell this theme will permeate through the film. Like, it's a good message, don't get me wrong, but the way it's stated just feels kind of cheesy and a bit obvious. Like, there isn't much subtlety to it. But anyways, now we're really entering spoiler territory. So this is your chance to leave. The main plot of the movie revolves around Shadow and Gerald Robotnik attempting to gain access to the space calling art from Sonic Adventure, and destroying Earth along with themselves, in an act of revenge, losing Maria. And after Robotnik gets released from prison, he releases Shadow from stasis to use him to power the art. And in this movie canon, Shadow comes from a meteor from outer space that crashed into Earth like 50 plus years ago, carrying him, and conveniently he has no memory of where he came from. And in my opinion, I'm not fond of this change. I really would have preferred if they just kept Shadow as a creation made by Gerald, because in the flashbacks, Shadow just lets them experiment on him for like no reason. He's really strong, he could just teleport and leave. But I guess because he was good friends with Maria, he just stuck around maybe? Or they just gaslit him into staying? Like, if you were Gerald's creation, he'd probably feel more in debt to help them, but here he seemingly never agreed to. But Shadow's power ends up being too unstable, so they axe the project and want to put him to stasis. but him, Gerald, and Maria attempt to run away. But instead of taking out the guards, like he does in the beginning of the movie, he runs at a snail's pace and just lets Maria explode. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt though, he probably didn't want to resort to violence to solve his issues because of the kindness he was shown by Maria. But once she blows up, he just gives up. And not to look up at that, Shadow breaks out of prison and Team Sonic attempt to intercept him, but get decimated and embarrassed. Like, none of them even land a clean hit on Shadow. And after that, they meet with the old commander dude to learn more about Shadow, and the second he finishes his exposition dumping, he fucking explodes and only gets like 2 minutes of screen time. But he passes on one of the activation keys required to turn on the Arc to Sonic, but the other one is with Gun themselves. And both parties, the baddies and the heroes, attempt to break in and get it. And as the heroes manage to nab the card, Tom, who was using deepfake tech to disguise himself as the old director dude, gets mistakenly demolished by Shadow. And after nearly killing Tom, Shadow feels a bit remorseful, but just teleports, leaving Sonic in rage mode. He demands Knuckles break into the Master Emerald, and initially Knuckles remains calm and rational, and he tells Sonic that he's in no proper mental condition to make such rash choices, and they should keep calm and choose the best option. But then Sonic threatens to physically harm Knuckles. Like, man, is that really the smartest choice? Your best human friend literally told you to try to do better, but Knuckles decides to trust Sonic and lets him turn Super Saiyan to fight Shadow. And man, Sonic kinda sucks. He gets his ass kicked in Super form, and then Shadow just goes Super too. They sort of go back and forth, but then Shadow taunts him, which causes Sonic to punch him to the fucking moon. And after a quick Martha scene, Shadow decides, hey, maybe I shouldn't kill 8 billion people who've never done anything wrong to Maria. I hate being evil. And this is the fucking moment. We get to hear Live and Learn on the big screen. And this shit is just beautiful. And it's right out of Sonic Adventure. Sonic and Shadow battling in space to butt rock while saving the world is the best scene from the film. While they're fighting robots in space, the rest of the team jumps onto the Ark and attempts to shut it down, but it ends up being too late. So they have to redirect it while Sonic and Shadow tank the blast. But it ends up overtaxing Sonic's super form, and he gives up before he can push it away, leaving Shadow to do it alone. But luckily the combined efforts of Shadow, Tails, Knuckles, and Eggman are capable of deflecting away from Earth, leaving Eggman to fucking blow up. Also, to defeat the main antagonist, they just kill him. Yep, that's how he goes out. It just seems a little weird that they keep him flying, Eggman is gone, just in case Jim Carrey decides he doesn't want to come back to do Eggman. Also, extra spoiler warning for the credits, I think it confirms Metal Sonic and Amy if they decide to go the route of doing Sonic 4, or maybe another TV series. Amy spawns out of nowhere and just beats up a bunch of Metal Sonics. And honestly, I never liked Amy from the games, so I just went, But seeing Shadow confirmed to have survived is neat. So after considering all that, should you watch the movie Disney hates? Honestly, if you've seen the first two, I think you might as well. I think this one is much more fun. The performances are great across the cast. Well, except for Eggman's servant. Like, he's not doing a bad job necessarily, but next to the other actors, he's clearly getting outshined. The plot overall is good with a couple of weird areas, but they aren't enough for me to consider the movie bad or unpolished. They're more so just minor things I wish were adjusted, mainly the dialogue, but your mileage may vary. Regardless, it's a fun film. It introduces a few more mature concepts for this version of Sonic, and Shadow gets to beat people up, so that's fun. I give it a solid 8 out of 10. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider subbing. It helps and motivates us to continue making content and improving.